What is the greatest Royal Rumble match in history? That is what you and I are going to find out today here on SCW, and to decide how we're going to figure out what is the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time, I am not going to be alone. That's right, I've got some of the most talented people in the wrestling YouTube community. In fact, myself with them combined, we have got 30 answers coming for you here today. So there's only one way to decide what is the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. That's right, we're going to do it by having our very own Royal Rumble match. But before I give you the rules of how this is going to work, thank you for choosing SCW here on YouTube. Please like the video, share with a friend as well, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment as well, letting me know your favourite over-the-top rope Royal Rumble match of all time. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to every single person that is involved in this video here today? Every link to every channel is in the description of this video. So many talented content creators, honestly, you will not regret it. And I just want to say before we start this video, a huge thank you to everyone who got involved in this video to help make this possible. So without further ado then, let's go through what the rules will be then for this special Royal Rumble match. And first off, all 30 wrestling YouTubers have been drawn at random. I will introduce who drew numbers 1 and 2. They will share their favourite over-the-top rope Royal Rumble match of all time. And then the match will continue until all 30 entrants have shared what is their favourite Royal Rumble match of all time. And just to clarify, I will be in and amongst the 30 entrants as well, so if you want to know what my favourite Royal Rumble match is of all time, you have to stick around throughout the video. You never know when I'm quite going to turn up. The winner will be the Royal Rumble match with the most votes. And I will keep you up to date with the votes and standings at regular intervals throughout the video. So that's the rules there, and of course each YouTuber is their own opinion of their favourite Royal Rumble match, so please don't get mad at me when the greatest Royal Rumble of all time from Saudi Arabia comes away with the victory. But seriously then, it's time then to start the Royal Rumble, and let's find out who drew number 1.
What's up, SCW family? Kyle here from the Geek KetchUP podcast, bringing you what I consider to be the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. For me, it's the 1995 match that saw HBK Shawn Michaels and British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith both entering at 1 and 2 and then going bell to bell. HBK got the win in the end after British Bulldog eliminated him, and he had that iconic moment where he was dangling there, but only one foot touched the floor, so he wasn't eliminated. Got back in, surprised Davey Boy Smith, and got the win, becoming the first person ever to enter at number 1 and then go on to win the Royal Rumble. Shawn Michaels is definitely a top 5 wrestler for me, so this was easily the best Royal Rumble match in my opinion.
A great way then to start off our Royal Rumble match. Big thank you to Carl from the Geek KetchUP podcast there for us there. And how ironic as well, at the number 1 spot, the same Royal Rumble as well from 1995, where Shawn Michaels was the very first entrant in that match and the very first time the number 1 would go on to win the Royal Rumble. Oh, you cannot forget the iconic moment where 1 foot only touched the floor from HBK to go on and win that match. But that's the number 1. Will it be the number 1 at the end of 30 entrants? There's only one way to find out, by calling on entrant number 2.
Hello everybody, Ella J here of a Wrestling Gal podcast, and my favorite Royal Rumble is the very first Royal Rumble I ever saw, the 2010 Rumble, where Edge returned in shocking fashion after injury and coming back to eliminate John Cena and win the entire thing. That Royal Rumble is so sentimental for me. Like I said, it's the first one I ever saw, and of course Edge coming back to a huge ovation and then going all the way to the final 2 and then winning is absolutely huge. And look where he is now, winning the whole thing again. But forever in my heart, the 2010 Royal Rumble is definitely my favorite.
Excellent suggestion there, and big thank you to Ella J from a Wrestling Gal podcast there for getting involved here. In 2010, her selection there, of course, as she said, that Edge returning. He was supposed to be out for a long time, and then he did make that big shock return, eliminating Chris Jericho, eliminating John Cena, and then going on to WrestleMania 26. Well, that's your first 2 entrants of the Royal Rumble. You're not going to hear me me now for a few entrants, but when I do return, I'll be updating you with the official standings of which Royal Rumble is where in the leaderboard. But first off then, let's go straight into the numbers and who drew numbers 3 and 4. And it's a tag team that we're coming up for us first now. And well, we've had it with Demolition, we've had it with Hardy Boys in the past, so they've been in the ring at the same time together. Will they coexist, or is it every man for themselves? Let's find out now then with entrance number 3 and 4. It is West Coast Popcast.
What's up, SCW? Steve, thanks for having me. It's your boy, the final boss of the West Coast Pop. And there have been a lot of great Royal Rumbles. And what is the question is, what is my favorite Royal Rumble? There's been so many great ones. AJ Styles, when he finally made his way to WWE. The women, when they finally got their Royal Rumbles. Asuka. Shinsuke Nakamura when he won. But the best one of all time is when Mr. Master of the 619, Booyaka Booyaka, Rey Mysterio went the distance and took out everybody. Took out Randy Orton, won the Royal Rumble, and went on to honor Eddie and take out Kurt Angle in the WrestleMania. That's my favorite one. Not even close.
Steve, I'm going to give you the real winner here of the best Royal Rumble of all time. I got one that's even closer to that than Rey Mysterio, just kind of casually going through participants. Royal Rumble in 1999, no chance in hell. After defeating The Undertaker in a buried alive match to qualify from an In Your House, Stone Cold had a bounty on his head for Mr. McMahon as who could eliminate Stone Cold and make sure he does not go on to WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio did not have a bounty on his head. He did not have the odds stacked as heavily as Stone Cold Steve Austin, but in the end, the plan prevailed. He had no chance in hell. The Rock collecting the bounty for helping him the next night on Raw. Your winner, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Boo.
SCW, take it away. Thanks again for having us on your station.
Thank you.
What's up, people? My name's Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And Steve gave me that call once again to come on his brilliant channel and discuss what my favorite Royal Rumble match is. And I'm going to go for the 2020 Royal Rumble. Now, it may not be my favorite. It may be a bit of recency bias, but I just think that Rumble was booked to perfection. Brock Lesnar coming in and just wanting to go through the entire field until he met Drew McIntyre, who had been built up so well for the previous 2 to 3 months beforehand. He went into the Rumble. We saw the Claymore over the top rope and Lesnar was eliminated. Drew, obviously, from that position, went on to win the Rumble. We also saw the reemergence of Edge coming out of retirement. I think one of the times he came out anyway. And he was in the Rumble match. That was a very, very big pop. So, yeah. That Royal Rumble 2020 is one of my favorites, and yeah, it only happened a couple of years ago. So yeah, thanks Steve for letting me come on, and I can't wait to hear everyone else's favorite Royal Rumble.
The best Royal Rumble for me ever has to be Royal Rumble 2001. I mean, just in terms of just the lineup in general in that Royal Rumble, not only is it Stone Cold Steve Austin's third Royal Rumble victory, you also get him versus Kane as the last two, when Kane sets the legitimate record for eliminations in a Royal Rumble appearance. Kane during this time period was awesome. You had the Brothers of Destruction storyline going on as well. The Rock included in this one. You had the Big Show. You had guys from the hardcore division using weapons. You had Matt versus Jeff Hardy in this. I just thought the lineup in general during one of the hottest periods in WWF history, just all together combining in this one awesome epic Royal Rumble, with the cherry on top being Austin winning. And then we get WrestleMania 17 following this, Rock Austin 2 in the main event. So this is just an awesome event, awesome Royal Rumble match, and to me, my favorite Royal Rumble 2001.
Great selections there. Big shout out to West Coast Podcast again, Mex from WrestleManiac UK, and Anthony rated R for Rasslin for you there. Let's look at the standings of where we see so far. As you can see, we basically have a tie at the moment. Every Royal Rumble only has one vote that's in the lineup there so far, but will that change? That's the thing, because we've got plenty more entrants to go. Looking forward to seeing who else we've got in the lineup, because some very special YouTubers on the way, including our next YouTuber, one of, if not the fastest growing wrestling YouTube channel right now. Welcome to SCW, and our entrant number 7 is none other than Superkick Studios.
My favorite Royal Rumble, with an honorable mention going out to 2020, 2001, and 2005, is Royal Rumble 2008. For me, what made that match so much fun was how it started off with storytelling. The two men who finished the previous year's Royal Rumble were in at number 1 and number 2 with HBK and The Undertaker. The match had a fun mix of stars from the past and stars of today. But the reason it ranks number 1 for me is the ending. At number 30, the buzzer hits and John Cena makes his triumphant return. Way ahead of schedule, and I get chills every time I think about this. Guy comes out and he turns into an elimination machine, and the final 3 are Batista, Triple H, and John Cena. 3 of my favorite wrestlers, so I'm already excited. But there's that part inside me that's just praying that John Cena wins after Batista got the better of him in 2005. Triple H knocks out Batista, and we're down to 2, Cena and Triple H. And John Cena throws Triple H over the top rope, and he's going to the main event of WrestleMania. My favorite Royal Rumble match, and simply an iconic Rumble return. Big thank you to Steve for having me on. Subscribe to his channel, share it with your friends and family. He's genuinely one of the most consistent creators on this platform. And enough of me flapping my gums, let's get back to the rest of the video. Peace.
Hey, James here for Primetime Conversations. Thanks for having me, Steve. For my pick for my favourite Royal Rumble match. So the Rumble I'm going to be picking is 2001, won by Stone Cold. A few reasons for it. Star power in the match. Like, there was so many Hall of Famers in this match. You had the likes of the Hardys, who will be Hall of Famers one day, but you had the APA, Kane, Taker, Austin, Rock, so much star power, Rikishi. Yeah, it was unbelievable, and we even got like a little mini Rumble in the middle where the likes of Raven, Al Snow, Steve Blackman brought all these weapons to the ring. You had fun comedy spots with Drew Carey and Honky Tonk Man, and yeah, the final finish between Austin and Kane, just really great. It was at the peak of wrestling, led to the biggest pay-per-view of all time, WrestleMania X7, and yeah, just really, really great Rumble. So that's my favourite Royal Rumble match. But thanks for having me on, Steve. I suppose I'll do some plugging. So if anyone wants to check out my channel where I interview wrestlers, and a few of the names I've actually just mentioned I've had on the show, but I also interview people from all entertainment such as film, TV, music, sports. So head over to Primetime Conversations and yeah, give us a subscribe. And if you want to head over to my sister channel, Cafe de Renee with Renee Dupree, I do a show with Renee Dupree every week. We normally have some guests on, and we also do deep dive into topics voted by you. So if you're going to head over to Cafe de Renee, then I'll be grateful for that also. So like I said, Steve, thanks again for inviting me, and yeah, it's been fun.
Hey, it's Bonafide Heat here. Thank you, Steve, for having me do this video. I appreciate it. I really like the idea, trying to get different perspectives on everyone's favorite Royal Rumble match. So my favorite Royal Rumble match itself, this one is a bit of a sentimental connection that I have with this, as I was live in attendance. I was in the arena for this match. I was so fortunate to be there. That's the 2006 Royal Rumble, my favorite Royal Rumble ever. I was really young. I was like 10 years old at the time going to this show. I think I had been to a WWE show before, but this is really the first live show that I have memory of going to. And I remember just soaking in the experience. Young me really wanted Rey Mysterio to win, but I didn't think it was possible. And it was so cool when he came out in the lowrider, just the spectacle of it, the tribute to Eddie, very emotional. And yeah, just that story being told, Rey coming in at number 1 or number 2, I don't remember exactly, and then he lasts the whole match and he wins it in underdog fashion. A lot of people thought that Randy Orton was going to win. I think he was the perceived favorite going into the show. And yeah, to see Rey eliminate Randy Orton at the end with Triple H's help, really awesome, and him celebrating with the crowd. It's just a moment I'll never forget, and I'm so glad that I was there. And yeah, that's it for me. Subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff. Thank you guys, and yeah, thank you again, Steve. Peace.
Hey, what's up? I'm Katrina from In Cat We Trust. And if we're talking about the Royal Rumble is pretty exciting because it's the first major pay-per-view with WWE for the year, but it's also the lead up to WrestleMania. And so for me, after thinking back to all the Royal Rumbles I've watched over the years, while the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble was, iconic for the historical meaning behind it, I keep going back to the 1999 Royal Rumble, where we had quite a few different snafus happening, with Chyna debuting in the Royal Rumble for the first time, the first woman to do so, and Vince McMahon getting rid of Stone Cold to win the whole Rumble. But the match that really stood out to me in 99 was The Rock versus Mankind in the I Quit match. The Rock joining the commentary team and talking a bunch of shit, and then coming back and ultimately winning the match, causing Mankind to quit. And so for me, that is definitely my favorite Royal Rumble match.
Fantastic stuff indeed. A big shout out to In Cat We Trust, to Bonafide Heat for primetime conversations, and as well for Superkick Studios, and a big shout out as well for those that also said that should subscribe to this channel. Make sure to subscribe to everyone's channel. A quick reminder that you can actually go to every link to every YouTuber in this video in the comments below. But as well as that, let's look what the standings are at present. We have 3 Royal Rumbles in joint first. The 1999 Royal Rumble, will it still be the #1 at the end, or is there no chance in hell? Of course, we got the underdog story of the 2006 Royal Rumble with Rey Mysterio winning that one, and of course the 2001 Royal Rumble. Which of those 3 will be at the top, or will it be another Royal Rumble? Not forgetting as well, with 1 vote each so far, is the 1995 Royal Rumble, the 2008, 2010, and the men's 2020 edition. But without further ado, let's get into our next set of YouTubers. And kicking things off, I think I'm going to recognise this guy. There have been so many great Royal Rumble matches over the years, past and present, but my personal favourite has to go to 1992. That's right, because this just had the star power. So many big names in this match. We're talking Hogan, we're talking Savage, we're talking Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, the British Bulldog, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. There's so many names you could go through that were in this Royal Rumble match. It is star-studded from near enough from start to finish, and the story throughout the Royal Rumble match is just so special. Ric Flair coming in at number 3. At that point, for every Royal Rumble before, no one between numbers 1 through 5 had even been in the match come the end. And let me tell you, from the commentary standpoint, they helped elevate this match even further. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan being a Ric Flair guy, desperate for him to win the match. Gorilla Monsoon rubbing it in his face from start to finish that Ric Flair is not going to make it. We hear the whining and crying of Bobby Heenan, which is literally a masterclass performance. Probably one of the best commentary duos we've seen in a Royal Rumble or even wrestling match, period. Just hearing the screams, "This is not fair" to Flair was absolutely genius. And the fact that Ric Flair managed to overcome the odds, even though Hogan was a bit of a bad guy, being thrown out of the match by Sid and making sure Sid didn't win it either, which went on to make the main event of WrestleMania 8. When Ric Flair won that match there, to have that iconic promo backstage with Mr. Perfect and Bobby Heenan behind him saying, with a tear in my eye, "This is the greatest moment of my life." Just literally everything sports entertainment from start to finish done to perfection. For me, the Royal Rumble 1992 is my personal favourite.
Hey guys, massive thanks for Steve for having me on this video. So, my favourite Royal Rumble. I have to give a shout out to 1992, which was my favourite Royal Rumble up until the 2020 Royal Rumble last year. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I just loved it when Brock Lesnar came out at number 1 and just pretty much smashed everyone, I think up until entrant number 15. I know he was throwing guys out left, right and centre, but it was just something that we've never seen before. And every time an opponent came out with Shinsuke or John Morrison, the crowd were just what's going to happen? So that was great. Obviously Drew McIntyre then coming out and eliminating Brock Lesnar was a huge moment. We had the return of Edge, which is probably one of the best returns of all time. Great Final 4 with Edge, Roman, Drew in there. And just with Drew eliminating Roman and pretty much making him a main eventer of the company. Finally, we got to see that big push for Drew McIntyre going into WrestleMania. It was just awesome. Yeah, this Rumble was just jam-packed for so many great moments. So yeah, it probably takes my number 1 spot. Cheers, Steve. Thank you.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Joey Carney here, host of the Angle Podcast, and I hope you all are having a great start to 2022. Now, Steve from the SCW channel asked me for my pick for what I believe is the best Royal Rumble match of all time. Now, for me specifically, I love to look forward to the surprises from the Hall of Famers, icons, the legends. The new feuds that begin in the Royal Rumble match leading into huge matches at WrestleMania. But for me specifically, my favorite Royal Rumble has to be the 2006 Royal Rumble, where Rey Mysterio entered early on and ended up winning the entire event, dedicating it to the memory of the late, great Eddie Guerrero, ultimately winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 22. Now, that match is specifically my favorite because I was there live in attendance in Miami. I was sitting second row behind the commentators. I'm actually, if you go and watch the event, you can actually see me and my dad sitting ringside, or second row, basically ringside, me holding up my John Cena spinner belt, and it was a great, great time, and that is my favorite Royal Rumble match, the 2006 Royal Rumble with Rey Mysterio winning it, going to WrestleMania.
Yes, people, it's GG at GG on Wrestling on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure you subscribe to SCW Steve. Talking about Royal Rumbles, and my personal favourite Royal Rumble has got to be 1999. It just encapsulates the Attitude Era perfectly. I mean, when you think about the Attitude Era, you think about Austin versus Mr. McMahon, and that is exactly what we get. That is the story for the whole match, pretty much. I just love how differently it's booked. I do really appreciate when a Royal Rumble is booked very differently, because although I love them so much, we all do, they can be very similar in terms of how they kind of are booked. So that's why 2020 is also very high up for me, just the Brock Lesnar stuff. But 1999 is definitely my favorite. We start with Austin and Mr. McMahon, number 1 and number 2. There's a hit out on Austin's head, and it just goes into carnage. Mr. McMahon running through the crowd, Austin chasing after him, gets lured into the toilets, and the corporation bang him up, gets taken away in an ambulance. And I just love the kind of, Mabel getting taken away in the hearse backstage, and then the ambulance pulls up, and it's Austin, he's back. Obviously not the greatest winner with Mr. McMahon winning it, but yeah, the heat from that was crazy. And obviously he sets up The Rock and Austin, because The Rock helps Mr. McMahon get the win. But yeah, it's just, Attitude Era is a very fun time for a lot of wrestling fans, and I think the 1999 Royal Rumble just encapsulates it absolutely perfectly. So that's definitely my favorite Royal Rumble. Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate it. Respect yourself. Don't neglect yourself.
Fantastic stuff. Once again, a big shout out to GG on Wrestling, the Angle Podcast, and Wrestling by Wardridge there. I'll be featured on all of their channels actually in upcoming videos. In fact, the Angle Podcast is available now for his 2021 awards, but keep an eye on GG and Wrestling by Wardridge channel as well, because I will be appearing on both of theirs in future videos coming up very, very soon. But back to the Royal Rumble. Some more shouts once again. If we go and look at the standings, we can see now that 2 Royal Rumbles are in the lead with 3 votes in the 2006 Royal Rumble match, as well as the 1999 Royal Rumble match there. 2001 is there with 2 votes, and now along with the men's 2020 Royal Rumble match, and honourable mentions 1 vote each to the 1992, 95, 2008 and 2010 Royal Rumble matches. So as you can see, it's pretty close, but with that video, we're going to now have entrants 15 to 18 for your next name here on SCW, and we're going to be starting things off with the one, the only, that's right, the fantastic JTE, Jimmy the Elitist, is here on SCW.
When SCW Steve asked me what is my favourite Royal Rumble match of all time, the answer to me came up simply. The 2020 Men's Royal Rumble. This match, not even 2 years ago as of the making of this video, but really this match had, in my eyes, near enough everything you could possibly ask for. Star power. For a modern day Royal Rumble match, this had damn near everybody. Roman Reigns, Edge, AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, the big star of the match, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar in this match, the first half of the match was devoted to him, a bunch of nuanced stories with Brock, the Shelton Benjamin stuff, the stuff with Big E, the New Day, or Rey Mysterio, all the guys Brock had feuded with over the past few months, all of them were coming in. Everything in the first half, it was entertaining because of Brock, the facial expressions, the selling, Keith Lee, who could forget the moment he came out, then Drew McIntyre. came out, Ricochet nutshotted Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre eliminated Brock Lesnar, one of the biggest moments in the Royal Rumble's history. Incredible moment, 50,000 people in Minute Maid Park going crazy. Then the rest of the match, Edge made his incredible return, one of the best moments in wrestling history. You had a great face-off with AJ Styles, Seth Rollins was in there, a great Final Four. In the end, Drew McIntyre throws out Roman Reigns. Overall, what a match, what a Rumble. 2020 Men's is my favourite Royal Rumble match of all time.
What's the word, y'all? What's up, Steve from SCW? This is Cinco from Know the Ropes Podcast, 1/3 of Know the Ropes Podcast, hashtag KTR. We are KTR, we're in the building. And on behalf of KTR, I want to give my opinion on what the best Royal Rumble was to me. And I'm going to have to go with Royal Rumble 2006 when Rey Mysterio won from the beginning of the Royal Rumble match all the way into the end. The biggest underdog of the match actually won the Royal Rumble. The smallest champion to probably ever win the Royal Rumble, the lightest, all that good stuff. Also, it was also for the late Eddie Guerrero too as well. Big meaningful moment and everything. He came out on the low rider and won it for Viva La Raza. So if I had to go with anything, I'm picking Rey Mysterio, 2006 Royal Rumble, best Royal Rumble of all time.
Hello, my name is Eleanor Wrestling on YouTube, and today I will be saying what my favourite Royal Rumble match of all time is. That is really tough, but I think I'm going to go with the first ever women's Royal Rumble match in 2018. I know that may be unpopular because people are going to say some crazy Royal Rumble from like the 2000s or something, but honestly, I haven't been watching wrestling for that long and I'm a huge women's wrestling fan, and this Royal Rumble in particular was absolutely incredible. I mean, the legends that returned, Trish Stratus, Lita, the Bellas, was absolutely amazing, and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch getting to be the first ever two women to kick off the Royal Rumble was incredible and just history making. It was so special, and it main evented the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It was absolutely amazing, so historic, and I love that we actually got women's Royal Rumble. Like, that just added so much legacy to it, so much speciality. I just absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic Royal Rumble, so I'm going with that as my favourite Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble is a many splendid beast that has so many different creations and incarnations, and they really stand out powerfully. But when you're talking about a favourite, something that just beats all of us, I do have a few favourites. I always think back to 99, won by Vince McMahon, the first one I ever saw. I always think back to anything that involves Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. But for me, I've actually got to give it to the year that Becky Lynch won the Royal Rumble. I believe it was 2019. Not just the Royal Rumble itself, though I believe that particular one was carved out beautifully, but beyond that, the whole event was incredible. Becky versus Asuka, Ronda versus Sasha, Finn versus Brock Lesnar, and AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. What's not to like there? Plus, at the end of it, you get that great feel-good moment with Becky Lynch after Charlotte carries the match, and a little bit of revenge on Nia Jax for the face breaking along the way. For me, that one will stand the test of time.
It's getting interesting, isn't it? Fantastic somebody, some great choices there, and some great content creators as well there. Shout out to JTE. We've got Cinco from Know the Ropes Podcast, Eleanor Wrestling, as well as Tom Conahue. Of course, Tom being a writer for PW Torch as well there. It's great to see some women's Royal Rumbles getting some shout outs as well there in the lineup. But let's look at the leaderboard then as things currently stand. With only 12 entries left to go. Looking at the leaderboard, we can see the 2006 Royal Rumble match is at the top right now with 4 votes. The 1999 Royal Rumble is with 3 votes, along with the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match. 2001 is still there in 4th place with 2 votes, and we've got a host of Royal Rumbles there with 1 vote. There is still enough time for it all to change. Who could be top at the end? Maybe someone's not even voted for yet. Could still end up walking away the winner. We'll have to wait and see as we get through to our next bunch of entries. Starting off, he's back on the channel after a long hiatus. It's great to welcome him back after doing a lot of collaborations in the past. It is the one, the only George from Jonesy Chats Wrestling.
Hi Steve, thank you for that fantastic introduction. Yes, Jonesy here from Jonesy Chats Wrestling with my favourite Royal Rumble. This one behind me, Royal Rumble 2000. What a fantastic pay-per-view. Some fantastic nostalgia. Shown here originally on Channel 4 in the UK. First ever terrestrial pay-per-view on television. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Some fantastic moments. This match behind me was absolutely superb. Brutal for the time. It was ECW and WWE, which was good to see. The actual Royal Rumble match though had everything. You had Khan-Tai interfering throughout it. You had a fantastic background with like a brick wall and junkyard effect as well. You also had a cameo from even Bob Backlund, and the spot they do with Too Cool dancing, it's just done so well. And it even had storylines throughout it, like arcs and stuff like that, but really, really superb. I think highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Royal Rumble 2000, by far it's the best. Thank you for having me again, Steve, and I'll speak to you soon.
It is I, the Simple Man. My name is Noah Foster, here giving you one of my favorite Royal Rumble matches, moments, and highlights. For me, one that definitely sticks out for the longest time will be the Royal Rumble pay-per-view as a whole, but especially the match back at 2007, pontificated and concluded with two of my all-time favorites in The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I want to make sure I got that right. What I loved about this so much, being a fan since 1992, I remember the struggles that The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels had with each other. Shawn Michaels taking time off, the personal hate it seemed with these two, and it all came ahead. Not in a true one-on-one, but it did necessarily come down to these two at the end of this Royal Rumble, where in the end, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, it felt like a big-time main event WrestleMania match, and it led to The Undertaker winning the Royal Rumble, and of course, heading on to WrestleMania 23, one of my favorite WrestleManias because of Undertaker Batista and stuff like that. So that's just some brief thoughts for you there, but that's one of my favorites for sure.
Thank you, Steve, for the invite. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the HHWShow podcast with Hector V and myself. I'd like to say the Royal Rumble 1992 was my favorite of all time just because the WWE Championship was on the line. It was vacant. Ric Flair wins it, but the more drama to the story was Hulk Hogan and Sid. Those two clashed that went all the way to WrestleMania. How about you, Hector?
Yeah, that was a great Royal Rumble. But for me, it was the 2007 Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas, at the AT&T Center. The Undertaker, which fortunately is my favorite wrestler, he wound up winning the Royal Rumble. He was the first number 30 entrant to win the Royal Rumble. After him, two other number 30s have won it. But he eliminated Shawn Michaels, which was the last wrestler he had to conquer to win that Royal Rumble. I mean, and to think the final four was Edge, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker. That you couldn't get any better than that. But for me, that was the highlight Royal Rumble for me.
Some great choices once again there. Big shout out to the HHWShow, Ovi and Hector. As well as that, we've got Jonesy there as well, Jonesy Chats Wrestling, and also as well Noah Foster, the Simple Man, also a contributor as well for No DQ. So some great collaborations there. And also, got to give a shout out to Ovi picking 1992 as well. Selfishly, very happy about that one as we go and look now in towards the leaderboard, where not too much has changed at the top since the last time we visited. 2006 still at the top with 4 votes. We've got 1999 and the men's 2020 Royal Rumble matches with 3 votes. 1992 has come in the conversation now with 2 votes, still with 2001, and what did have no votes before the last run, the 2007 Royal Rumble, getting 2 votes during that round alone. And as well as that, of course, we've got a host of Royal Rumbles on 1 vote. 2000, of course, the latest one, joining that great lineup of Royal Rumble matches as well. So you know how this works by now. We've got another 4 great content creators on the way, starting off with a No DQ contributor. He is a trivia champion as well in wrestling, and also his specialty is Royal Rumbles. Without further ado, from the Greg Cherry brand, in one of the most popular winning positions for Royal Rumble matches, I give to you Mr. Greg Cherry.
Hi, I'm Greg Cherry from the Greg Cherry brand, and my favorite Royal Rumble match of all time might surprise you because it's a recent one. The 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match was a spectacular combination of surprises, storytelling, action, and moments that you had to see to believe. You thought I was going to say 92, didn't you? Well, if you want to see where I ranked every Royal Rumble match in history, check out the Greg Cherry brand and the playlist that I created, running down every single Rumble match.
Hey
Hey, what's going on? This is George from What You Call It podcast. I've been asked by my good mate at SCW, the wrestling channel, what is my favourite Royal Rumble match of all time? And I'm going to let you know now what it is. 92 Royal Rumble. The answer will never change. When Ric Flair enters at number 3 and wins the entire Royal Rumble. Also, who can forget Bobby Heenan's commentary? It's not fair to Flair. Magnificent stuff. The star power. Hogan, Piper, Savage, Flair, who won it, Undertaker, British Bulldog, Shawn Michaels, Virgil, yeah, Anakin. Ric Flair's promo at the end of the match as well. This is the greatest moment of my life when he says before, with a tear in my eye, this stuff that I will always remember because it was the first Royal Rumble match that I ever watched.
Thanks SCW Steve for allowing me to be part of this video. So what's my favourite Royal Rumble of all time? That is Royal Rumble 2001. A close second is 1992 when Flair gets the win, but this one's just fantastic. They have a whole part of it dedicated for hardcore wrestling. They have Taker, Kane, Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold. The whole card itself is great, and when Stone Cold gets the win at the end, it's kind of just that top of his comeback at that point to go on and main event one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. It's just a fantastic Royal Rumble pay-per-view in general, and a very, very good thought out match that sets up for quite a lot of matches at WrestleMania 17. So that's where I pick Royal Rumble 2001.
No, this is very, 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 very tough. But if I gotta pick best Royal Rumble match, I'm gonna have to say 1997. 1997 with the Royal Rumble, in which, spoiler alert, you guys already know that Stone Cold Steve Austin was on his rise. He won the Royal Rumble. We got Stone Cold and Bret Hart. That exchange was just perfect. Let me say it again for you. Perfect. Right?
Well, actually, you can't argue with that movie. It's good to see that the 97 Rumble has got a mention there. It was a really fantastic one that was done in San Antonio, Texas there. Big shout out there to Showstoppa TV, as well as Nonstop Wrestling Chat. George Buka as well, What You Call It podcast, especially for the 92 as well. Good man, I like that a lot. And of course, the Pennsylvania sensation, Greg Cherry, for the Greg Cherry brand there. Let's look at the leaderboard and see where we're at right now as we come into the last few entrants of this Royal Rumble match. It is so close with just 4 entrants to go. Look at the top there. It is in a tie right now for first position, the 2006 Royal Rumble, along with the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble with 4 votes each. Then coming after that, we've got 3 Royal Rumbles with 3 votes each. The 1992 Royal Rumble, along with 1999 and 2001. And let's not forget as well the 2007 Royal Rumble, still in with a shout there, also with 2 votes. If they get every single vote that's left, we've got a host of Royal Rumbles that still could be in there with winning it today. 1995, 97, 2000, 2008, 2010, and of course the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble, along with the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble. So let's get back into it then, shall we then? Number 27, a popular position for winning Royal Rumble matches. Introducing back here on SCW, the best man, I like to call him because he was the best man at my wedding. It is none other than James from This Week in Metropolis.
Hey Steve, James here from This Week in Metropolis. Wow, best Rumble ever. For me, one of my favourites, I'm not saying it was the best Rumble, but one of my favourites had to be the 2020 Royal Rumble, where Keith Lee, if you remember, he made such an impact in that Rumble. It stood out beyond belief, and I thought he was destined to go so far in that. Not just that, Brock Lesnar started and was eliminated by the eventual winner, which I believe was Drew McIntyre. Just an all-round top men's Royal Rumble. Yeah, I think that one, it had so much potential to lead further. Sadly for some of them it didn't, for others it did. But yeah, that would be my pick.
I think my favourite Royal Rumble match would be the 2002 Royal Rumble match. I think there was just such a strong array of talent up through the whole match. I think it feels like 3 matches almost as well. You had the opening, which I made carders and stuff like that until Undertaker came in. Number 8 gets eliminated by Maven, which is still a big moment to talk about today. Steve Austin clearing house when he comes in with 6 eliminations. And I think the Final 4 is one of the best Final 4s you could have. Mr. Perfect, Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then I feel it's one of the few times that WWE actually capitalized on momentum with Triple H coming in, winning the Royal Rumble after being out for 8 months with an injury. So I think that'd probably be my favorite Royal Rumble.
Hey guys, Josh here. I often wonder to myself what exactly is the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. Now, I have many in my head, that kind of in here, in my heart, that kind of make me go, they might be sentimentally my favorites, but what is the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time? I head to 2008. The 2008 edition of the WWE Royal Rumble was held in Madison Square Garden, if you remember correctly. John Cena was number 30 after coming back after this big pec injury of some kind in 3 or 4 months. And we're like, what the hell, this man is Superman. But that match itself, the setting, the kind of visual of that Royal Rumble is so fun to me. There was a lot of surprises in that Royal Rumble. It was one of the first Royal Rumble, well, not the first Royal Rumble with obvious surprises, but there was more of an emphasis on having surprises within the Royal Rumble match. But I really enjoyed 2008's WWE Royal Rumble. So go watch it. It's a good time.
It certainly is indeed. Big thank you to Josh Robinson for us there, along with as well the Discus Lariat Collective, and of course as well this week in Metropolis as well. We've had 29 entrants. Let's see now at the top of the leaderboard who is in contention of winning the best Royal Rumble match of all time. Is it going to be the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match, which is currently in the lead with 5 votes? Or are we going to have a situation like 1994 with Bret Hart and Lex Luger, where 2006 gets the final vote and we end this Royal Rumble marathon in a tie? We're about to find out right here and right now. It all comes down to the number 30 entrant, which without further ado is none other than Chris from It's My House podcast. Without further ado, before he gives his answer, let's have one more countdown.
Chris here from It's My Wrestling podcast. My very good friend has asked me to tell you what my favourite Royal Rumble matches of all time, and it just has to be the Royal Rumble 2020. Absolutely incredible from start to finish. We had some great matches outside of the Royal Rumble match itself. I think it was a great pay-per-view overall, but the Royal Rumble match itself, I mean, we got the return of Edge, we got some cool returns like MVP, we had the whole story and the anger and the vitriol and the hatred for the fans watching what Brock Lesnar was doing and the dominance. We went into that match not knowing what to expect, sort of had a little bit of an idea that Lesnar would be pretty dominant throughout. It looked like all of our worst nightmares were going to come true, because at this time, nobody really cared for Brock. They built it so well. He sold the hell out of the elimination by Drew. We had the amazing moment with Drew winning, crying, thanking everybody, saying I love you into the camera. Beautiful, beautiful moment. Edge's return, as I said, Edge making it all the way to the final 3. The fact that Drew eliminated Roman when it looked like everybody was a bit like, oh my God, is Roman going to win this? Really? Are we really going that way? It was just incredible from start to finish. We got loads of really cool showdowns like Brock and Keith Lee. We had Strowman in there, Lee and Lesnar at the same time. We had the little stories of Ricochet getting revenge on Brock by giving him a low blow. Kofi being in there with Brock. It was all built around Brock. It was incredible. Hands down, easily my favourite Royal Rumble match of all time.
So there you have it. After 30 of the most talented wrestling YouTubers give their opinion of what is the greatest Royal Rumble match in history, the winner is the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match. I think we can all agree a worthy winner of the best Royal Rumble match of all time. Whether it's your favourite or not, the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match was fantastic from start to finish. As everyone has gone on to say from that, the story of Brock Lesnar destroying half of the Rumble, getting the likes of Keith Lee coming in, Kofi Kingston, people like that trying to stop the Beast Incarnate wasn't successful. It took till Drew McIntyre halfway through the Rumble to get Brock Lesnar out of the match, and then Drew going on to win and making a start in that fashion as well. It's definitely a worthy winner. So let's go to the leaderboard one last time to see the final standings of what is the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. As we know, the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match coming top there with 6 votes in the end. In second place was the 2006 Royal Rumble, where Rey Mysterio overcame all the odds, winning from number 2 there with 4 votes. We had sharing then with 3 votes each, the 1992 Royal Rumble when Ric Flair won the WWE Championship, as well as that the 1999 Royal Rumble, which had no chance in hell in the end there. 2001's Royal Rumble, of course, the Hardcore Delight in Austin's 3rd Rumble win there, and of course then in 6th place, arguably joint 6th place, there were a number of Royal Rumble entries that only got 1 vote during this. Of course, the 1995, which was the first vote of the whole thing, of course. Shawn Michaels, the first ever guy from number 1 to go and win at the end. 1997 Royal Rumble, the first one Steve Austin won, screwing Bret Hart at the end. The 2000 Royal Rumble, of course, with that inconclusive finish with The Rock and Big Show. Of course, 2002, of course, Triple H's return also, which was a big thing, a big deal, capitalizing on that. As well as that, Maven eliminating The Undertaker. Where 2010, Edge's shock return, and of course, Women's Royal Rumbles from 2018 and 19. The first ever one was 2018, which was a great spectacle to watch. And of course, 2019, where Becky Lynch got herself to go to the main event of WrestleMania to go and become Becky 2 belts. So there you have it there. I think the big question we need to ask at the end of this video is, where did this Royal Rumble match rank amongst all the others in the wrestling history? Has this been your favourite Royal Rumble match of all time? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know, was it the right winner in the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what your favourite Royal Rumble match of all time is. Remember as well, you can subscribe to every channel that has been involved here on the video here today. The link is in the description of every single one of them. I highly recommend you go and subscribe to everybody. And I would like to quickly just say a huge thank you to everyone that got involved on today's video to make this video possible. Really do appreciate it, and keep up the fantastic content that you are all creating. As well, if you've enjoyed this video also, why not subscribe to SCW if you haven't already? Please like the video, share it with a friend as well. Sharing really is caring. It helps grow the channel a long way. Leaving a comment does also, and like I say, do subscribe and also hit the bell and turn the notifications to all, each and every time a video is released. I'm hoping to release more Royal Rumble videos on the road to the Royal Rumble, including one that's already recorded and in the books and coming to you very shortly, fantasy booking the Women's Royal Rumble for 2022. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great day. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube. All the best, and I will see you next time. Big thank you to every single person who's been involved here today. And yeah, go and check out their stuff. See you soon.